Yo, what's going on, everybody? So I'm back and I'm giving you guys a tier list that a lot of you guys have hit me up on DMs on Instagram asking me to make, as well as in the comment section from the very first tier list I did, which is, can you rank every Boruto story arc? And Boruto is that series that people love to hate. Like, there have been some really good arcs and there have been some really bad arcs. And because I stopped on my original channel, I stopped reviewing the Boruto anime after episode 4, which shouts out to Eternal Hokage for reviewing every single episode. I'm not even trolling at this point. For reviewing every single episode of the Boruto anime. Shouts out to Eternal Hokage, because my man is so underrated. He's been putting in a lot of work, so gotta say respect for that dedication for that, because like I said, I stopped reviewing after episode 4, and it's for a bunch of different reasons, which I can talk about later on in another video if you guys want. So a lot of you guys said, like, what are your thoughts on all the different Boruto story arcs? So I've gone through and I've literally watched all the Boruto episodes leading up to this week's episode that deals with Urashiki invading Konoha. Slight spoiler for those of you who are not up to date on the anime. So without any further ado, I'm going to be doing the story arcs in the chronological order that they were actually given to us. So looking at the very first one, so this is going to be the Academy Entrance arc, or for what a lot of people like to call the new arc. So for this one, and I'm not going to recap all the arcs because I mean we'll be here forever at this point. I'm just going to give you guys my thoughts and tell you where I'm going to put it. Okay, so for the new arc of the Academy Entrance arc, I mean, I'm going to put this one in wasted potential. Like, I'm so tempted to say this was good, not great. Like, I know a lot of people like this arc, but this is one of those ones, like, I would have liked to see a lot more. I felt like starting off with Boruto and the Academy, this was a really good idea. I do like this. I personally would have liked to have seen them actually pick up, at least in the anime or manga, right there with that flash forward sequence, since everybody was so worried about what happened in Naruto. I would have liked to have seen something like that. But starting so far back in the timeline, I like that idea. I like the idea of seeing the different members of the new generation of Konoha and getting all their quirks and everything. I thought that was cool. But where the wasted potential comes in is actually Samiri. And so when it comes to her character and just the fact that, like, her family had some ties with Konoha, and there's like some hints with everything that's going on with Danzo, I felt like that was a great opportunity to just dive deeper into the darker underbelly of Konoha. Like, I like the fact that, you know, we're getting introduced to a character that pushes Boruto as a protagonist. Like, I would have liked to see more there. I would have liked to see more of when she's in what is basically Sakura's rehabilitation center for children with mental health issues. You know, that detainment center that you see Samiri in, where Sai and Izanbu have Samiri kind of locked up and Shino speaking to her. A lot of stuff we know about Sakura's medical clinics, that's one of those. That's the focus of her mental health clinic. So I would have liked to see more of the rehabilitation process with that character. I thought it would have felt more earned if we would have saw more of that before she actually goes back to rejoin the academy. I would have liked to seen that. I thought that, again, this was wasted potential. I feel like this could have been a lot better than what it was. It's not a bad arc, but again, it's one of those ones that left me wanting a little more. So the next arc is going to be what all of us call Naruto Gaiden. So for this one, I'm gonna say grab your ramen bowls, because when this arc came out, for those of you who don't know, this was an arc that was done by Masashi Kishimoto back in 2015, where he basically said that he was making a story that dealt with a female protagonist that was 12 years old, and he was basically testing out the waters. This was our first dive into seeing whether or not this new generation could actually hold the interest of Naruto fans after the end of the Naruto series in October 2014. So I like the fact that you're actually getting to see Sarada, you're getting to see Sasuke's relationship. I like the world building that was introduced into that. You know, this arc was very critical in the segueing into Boruto the movie, and those who saw my Boruto movie tier list know that I really enjoy that movie. So I mean, I like this one. Again, I like the drama that's in there. I like the fact that there's conflict that is done perfectly. So when I say it's done perfectly, those of you who follow me on Twitter know that I like to say that a good story is rich in conflict, but conflict doesn't have to be just two people fighting. You know, good conflict is when you have a character with an internal desire, an internal struggle, and then it manifests based on what's going on around them. So for Sarada, she wants to find out who her real mother is. She wants to meet her father, and then the external conflict that plays off of that is what's going on with the Shin Uchihas and the fact that she's getting in over her head. Sasuke isn't exactly what Sarada was actually envisioning. You get a lot of conflict that isn't action related. So I'm gonna call this one Grab Your Ramen Bowl. So the next arc is the Academy Field Trip arc, or the Hidden Mist arc. Now, when this first came out, because I am a huge sucker for world building, I was all for this arc. Like, I know a lot of people hated it. I like the idea that you're seeing the different villages, where you had the Mist Village and Konoha basically talking, and the Mizukage was stating that, like, if our feudal lord says we gotta go to war, we have no choice but to fight. So I liked it initially, but going back and looking at it, I'm not letting any comments, anything sway my opinion. I'm gonna call this one wasted potential, because I feel like this arc could have been a lot better than what it was. I get what they're trying to do. They wanted to expand the world building. They wanted to have Boruto explore the other worlds, much in the same way that Masashi Kishimoto wanted Kakashi to take Naruto and his team to village after village after village, where they could introduce different rivals for Naruto to meet and explore the other lands. But instead, we got that greatness that was called the Chunin exams. So I mean, again, I can see what they're trying to do here, but I just feel like the execution was off. I'm not gonna call it a trash arc. Like, for it to fall into Naruto died for this shit category, or for I gotta go watch Tenten be 8th Hokage, it's gotta be legendary bad. Like, it's gotta be legendary bad. So moving on to the next one, the graduation exams arc. So when it comes to this one, this is going to be another one where, again, I'm not going to say good or great. I'm actually going to say Naruto died for this shit. So for this one, I know some people enjoyed this one. So for it to have fallen here, I thought the idea of the Genin having to fight against the Jonin was something that was really cool. It was an updated take on the bell test, where instead of having bells, you have these devices on the different sensei. I thought it was cool, but the fact that you got Kakashi, who is Kage level, Kakashi, who could solo all these Genin without any type of trouble, right? The fact you got Kakashi there, I know that you can't expect to see Kakashi go all out, and Kakashi was investigating all these different Genin, but I would have liked to have gotten more from all of the members of Boruto's generation about their Nindo. I would have liked to have seen more there. Like, I felt like they were trying to scratch the surface with it, with Kakashi asking all those questions and with them learning the value of teamwork. I thought it was really cheesy that everybody became a ninja. And this era where you don't need as many ninja, the fact that everyone became a ninja, I thought that was corny. And so that knocked it down from wasted potential into Naruto died for this shit. And the big thing is I think a lot of people forget this. When you go back to the Naruto era, right? Like when Naruto was going through the academy, not when Itachi and them went, but when Naruto's generation went. So when you look at what happened during that era, you had all these people who graduated from the academy, but they didn't become Genin. Okay, so Kakashi, I think in chapter 4, if I'm not mistaken, says that only 3 teams are going to be allowed to become Genin. Everyone else who fails the Jonin test, they're going to go back to the academy. But even if everyone passes, only 3 teams, so 9 people out of all those people who graduated, are only going to be allowed to become Genin. So I thought that this was an opportunity to kind of thin the crop, because we have too many characters that haven't been fleshed out. Don't give me that stuff about, oh, well, we got to have more episodes to flesh them out. When you have a cast this big, it's really hard to focus and give everyone the shine that they need. Like, how many episodes has it been since we've seen Iwabe, a character who had potential and has basically been pushed to the background? So I think this is an opportunity to just focus on the characters who ranked high in the popularity polls and the characters who the writers felt like were going to play a bigger role in the future going forward. So moving on to the next arc, so the Byakuya gang arc. Okay, so with this one, I was not a fan of this arc when it came out. I was not a fan of this arc when it came out. I fell asleep watching some of these episodes, but once we got to the whole thing with Ryogi and learning more about his past, it's one of those things where I took it from Naruto died for this shit to wasted potential. So I mean, the one thing I feel like probably could have been done better with this arc is I would have liked to have seen more when it comes to Shikadai and having to struggle with that decision with Ryogi. And so I think that they did a good job. I think they did a good job with that, but I felt like it could have been done better. I felt like there could have been a better build up towards Shikadai realizing who exactly Ryogi is, and Tamari kind of pushing him a little harder. I felt like there were a few more things that could have been done to take this arc up another level. And then the ending of this arc was absolutely ruined by the fact that Naruto just shows up with this QB chakra mode and he one-shots the train and captures everybody. I felt like that was a cop-out ending. The only reason why I didn't go into a bottom tier is because if I just sat down and rewrote the arc, there's enough good stuff there to where I feel like it could be a really great arc if a few things were tweaked. So the versus Momoshiki arc. Now, this one, I'm gonna say again, this is gonna be grab your ramen bowls, okay? Because let's just take out episode 65 with Naruto and Sasuke versus Momoshiki. If that fight wasn't in there, or if they just copy and pasted the fight from the movie, this will still be a really good arc. Now, the next arc is going to be the Chocho arc, and unfortunately, I was not able to find a good picture for the Chocho arc. Now, I know somebody's like, dude, why are you even talking about Chocho? So for this one, I gotta say, this is in the fam. I gotta go watch 1010 become 8th Hokage, because I get what they're trying to do here, dealing with the self-esteem issues and body image and all the other stuff, but this arc felt like an after-school special. Like, this felt like an after-school special. Don't be wrong, I love seeing Chocho use the body, the butterfly mode. I love seeing that, because when I made my video talking about the fact that Chocho had the butterfly mode over on Kryptonian Saiyan, people said, you're making this up. This isn't true. So again, to see something like that, I personally love seeing it for that reason. I got to toot my own horn, damn it. But this arc, again, you can take this arc out of the story and just tell us that Chocho, during the time skip, was able to learn the butterfly chakra mode before she actually takes part in the Mitsuki disappearance arc. If you would have told people that, they'd have just bought into it. The Mitsuki disappearance arc, or the Mitsuki retrieval arc, I'm gonna call this a guilty pleasure, because I know a lot of people didn't like it. I know that there was some stuff that definitely stumbled, like with the Ryoshi cave and all the potential that was left on the table there. I thought that we could have got a lot more there, but I enjoyed the time we spent there. The one thing I will say is the reason why I'm calling this a guilty pleasure is I love the philosophical themes that are in this arc. Like, they're even from like the names, when you look at the meaning behind Ku's name and Seki's name, like just looking at all the names and the symbolism and just the philosophical stuff packed into this arc. Like, this is one of those arcs that in order to appreciate it, you can't watch it week by week. You gotta watch this arc I'm not gonna say in one sitting, but you gotta watch it a few episodes back to back. That's what I did, because when this arc was coming out, like, I didn't watch it weekly. I didn't get an opportunity to start catching up until, like, I think January of this year, and that's when I started tweeting out stuff. And you know, a lot of you guys got mad at me on Twitter because I started laughing when Seki's whole body just started breaking apart right when he was giving the fist bump to Mitsuki. Like, I know that that makes me a horrible human being. I'm absolutely sorry, not sorry. There's a lot of stuff you can build on there, and I've been working on a video. I'm not done with it yet because, again, there's a lot to break down this arc, but I've been working on a video talking about why I find this arc to be more brilliant than a lot of people give it credit for. So again, I'm going to call this one a guilty pleasure. So the Naruto Parent and Child Day arc, I'm going to call this one Naruto died for this shit. And the only reason I'm going to do that, the only reason I'm going to do it, is I read the Naruto Parent and Child Day novel. So I know what they cut out. I also know what they inserted into the anime. So one of the things I told you guys, I was like, dude, they got Boruto too heavy in this arc. We don't need to see Boruto walking around Konoha with a sad face on saying daddy wasn't there. Daddy issues were resolved in the versus Momoshiki arc. We didn't need that shit. We didn't need it. And so to have them kind of drag that on like that, I didn't like that. I didn't like that at all. And given the fact that they're cutting stuff like, you know, Hinata finding Boruto's pink underwear, which I thought was hilarious, as well as the Hinata versus Hanabi fight. When it comes to the Hinata and Hanabi part of the novel, that was really cool. Like, you have a lot of cool character interactions and moments, and like I said, the Hinata versus Hanabi fight, that was one of the things that I really would have liked to see. Like, they cut so much. This was a very short arc, and when you look at all the shit that they added in there, I mean, this was, I'm not gonna call it as bad as an adaptation as the Itachi Daylight and Midnight novels. I'm not a big fan of this arc in the anime. Okay, so the next arc is the Jugo arc, and this is another one where it's like, I know what they're trying to do. I respect what they're trying to do, but having Konohamaru fight against Jugo, even for those brief moments, it's not enough to save this. Having the foreshadowing of technology, which is huge in the manga, having technology that can give people sage transformation and transform their bodies using the curse mark, that's not enough to save this arc. This was an arc where, again, I fell asleep watching some of these episodes. I felt like there was a few things that were a little too repetitive, like the whole thing with the birds. Like, it's only so many different times I can watch Jugo suck the curse mark chakra out of these birds before I get tired. What I don't like is it really feels like Jugo got nerfed in this arc. I didn't like that. Jugo is a fucking tank. He's a fucking tank. If Konohamaru was gonna fight this dude, we should have gotten a real fight. This should have been that moment when Konohamaru got his Kakashi versus Zabuza moment, where you saw Kakashi just all of a sudden show us why he's the leader of Team 7. Konohamaru should have had that moment with Jugo. If he had an ace up his sleeve, it should have been here. It should have been here. You could have ended it the same way with Konohamaru knocking the kunai right through Jugo and using the Rasengan to send him flying across the forest. That fight should have been longer. Again, because I fell asleep watching some of this arc, I'm putting it in the trash bin. I'd rather watch Tenten become the 8th Hokage. Now for this next one, again, I don't have a picture of it because I wasn't able to find a high resolution picture that I enjoyed, but the Steam Ninja, the Konoha Shinden adaptation anime, so Mirai and Kakashi going to the hot springs and battling the member of the Jashin Code in that whole investigation. So those of you who are followers of mine from Kryptonian Saiyan, you were part of that crypto gang, you guys know that I love that novel, but the anime adaptation, while accurate, I'm gonna say this, the anime adaptation is very accurate. There are a few changes, but it's an arc where I shouldn't say this, but it's actually a guilty pleasure because they actually adapted it for the most part accurately. The big changes that they made is it doesn't take place while Boruto and everybody are in the academy. It doesn't take place a year before Naruto Gaiden like it does in the timeline. Instead, it takes place when Boruto's already a Genin. That really got on my nerves, but you know, just seeing them actually adapt those scenes and do it in a way that, again, they cover covered each of the key chapters cover every chapter. They covered key moments, and the few changes they made weren't horrible. Now, I know that this wasn't a huge action-packed arc, so I know a lot of people don't like it for that reason, and I know a lot of people aren't interested in Mirai as a character. I'm not too interested in her character as well, but I did like the idea that Naruto sent her on this mission knowing that she was going to end up interacting with a member of the cult that did kill Asuma. I'm gonna call it a guilty pleasure. So the next arc that I'm gonna be looking at is gonna be the Konohamaru / the Lemon arc. Oh shit. So this one's interesting because I started reviewing the Boruto anime around this time. And you guys know that I affectionately, sarcasm intended, I affectionately call this one Konohamaru the Last, okay? While I am very, very tempted to say that this is wasted potential. While I'm very tempted to say that, I'm gonna put this one in Naruto Died for this shit. Simply for the fact that I didn't like Naruto the Last. So the fact that I'm even comparing it to it should tell you, no. Like on an episode by episode basis, I thought the storytelling, I like where they were doing it. I thought that they were weaving together some really good points and concepts. That's why I said I'm very tempted to make this a wasted potential, but it's one of those things where I look at it and I say, why should I care? Why should I care? Konohamaru's never going to interact with this chick ever again. Why should I get invested? Like if they would have done more, if this would have been a longer arc, and I'm gonna be dead serious now, if this would have been a longer arc, if we'd have seen a better build up, especially towards the end, I think that this could have been a good, not okay arc. Like there's some stuff that's really working for this. Again, I would call it wasted potential, but again, when it reminds me of a Naruto movie that I paid money to go see and I fell asleep watching, it should tell you this is not a good arc. Now, don't get me wrong, I never fell asleep watching the Ramon arc. I never got to that point. And it did hold my attention, and it's more so because I understood what Kodachi was going for with this arc. But again, this is not a good arc. This is not a good arc. Like on an episode by episode basis, I totally get it. If you listen to those reviews, I talk about what worked really well, and I talk about the episode, but not the whole context of the arc. It's one of those things where you can have a bunch of good pieces, but those pieces don't fit together in the way that they should. That's this arc. Okay, so moving on to the most recent arc that's being called the One Tails arc, or the Urashiki arc, basically. So for this one, I'm unpopular opinion, I know. I'm gonna put this one in good, not great. Now, don't get me wrong. Like, a lot of people are pissed off at the fact that, oh, we got cock tease. We didn't really see Sasuke fight Urashiki. We didn't really see that. Fuck that. I'm putting that in wasted potential. Fuck that. So we didn't see Sasuke versus Urashiki. We didn't see that. Boruto's Jogan, we didn't get a whole lot of information on it. It was more questions than answers, but we did see some fleshing out of his powers. You got to see more of the Sand Village and just how those shinobi are kind of coming up there, and just seeing the difference in culture. Where I would say it's wasted potential is I would have liked to have actually seen Boruto in the Hidden Sand Village. I would have liked to see him interact with more of the Genin from that village. I would have liked to have seen him actually in there. I would have liked more of the Kazekage clan lore actually being discussed instead of teased, and to see more of how the Hidden Sand Village operates. Like there could have been more done here. Again, I get why this arc wasn't rushed, because of what we're getting this month with Boruto going back into the past. So I totally understand that. I totally understand why this part was rushed. I actually ended up skipping an arc. So the arc that I ended up skipping was the Genin mission arc. So this is the arc that takes place before the Byakuya Gang arc, and I'm gonna call this one, fam, I gotta go watch 1010 become 8th Hokage, because this arc was so bad. This arc was so bad, I forgot it even existed. Okay, I forgot it even existed. I understand. I know Eternal Hokage, that's my dude. He's probably gonna be vehemently disagreeing with me on this, but while I thought it was cool that we're actually seeing Team 7 build up chemistry and go on missions, I loved it. I just felt like that was too short. I'm not gonna call it pointless, but if you're gonna be doing this, at least make an impact. At least make these missions memorable. Make them memorable. Like, make them like play off the character interactions better. This was a trash ass arc. Like, this was some wet, sloppy booty cheeks arc. So this is where I'm gonna be talking about the manga, and for you anime onlys, I'm not gonna spoil. I'm gonna keep the references that manga only would understand. I'm gonna keep those to a minimum so it's safe for you guys to continue out and finish this video. So the next arc is the Owl arc, and I didn't have a picture of the Magina Bandit, so before I kind of go there, I'm just gonna say I'm gonna lump in Magina Bandits and the Owl arc. I know, unpopular opinion, but I'm gonna lump those in there simply for the fact that, fuck it, I don't have a good reason. Like, literally, I didn't have a picture for Magina Bandits. So for the Owl arc, I'm gonna call this one good, not great, even with the Magina Bandits put in there, because it's one of those arcs where it sets up what is hands down the best arc in the Boruto franchise. It sets it up, okay? It sets up the arc that we're currently in. But the Magina Bandits and the Owl arc, it starts out slow. It starts out slow, having Boruto learn more about the scientific ninja tools, having different characters from the Versus Momoshiki arc get brought back in, having the whole thing with the Magina Bandits, and Boruto having this escort mission with the feudal lord's son. Like, having stuff like that, I mean, it was cool, but I know how I felt when I was reading those chapters. I was going, not necessarily why should I care, but I was going, when are we gonna get to the good stuff? You know, you had Kara mentioned, and you had the setup for it, but it wasn't enough for me to get excited. So I'm gonna call it good, not great. It's not wasted potential. It did its job. It definitely did its job. I'm just gonna say that. I'm gonna leave that one there. Now, when it comes to the Kawaki arc, or what a lot of people call the Car arc, so when it comes to that, I'm calling that one grab your ramen bowls, because if you guys have been following my chapter reviews, right, you know that, like, since I started doing Boruto chapter reviews from chapter 29, like, the level of hype and excitement I've had for these chapters since they come out, it's just been going up and up and up and up and up. Like, I love it. Like, you got the stuff that's going on now with Jigen and Naruto and Sasuke and Kawaki, Boruto. You're getting answers to what's going on with the Karma. You're getting answers about the Suzuki clan. You're getting more questions about the Suzuki. I mean, there's just so much greatness there, and I'm gonna say it. Whenever the anime does adapt this is gonna be the arc. This is gonna be the arc where the Boruto anime is gonna fucking balloon. It's gonna fucking balloon. That's all I can say. That's all I can say on that one. It's gonna fucking balloon. Like, this arc is good enough to where people who drop the manga are picking the manga back up. Like the Kawaki arc, a good way to put it, I'm gonna end the video like this. A good way to describe the Kawaki arc is, the Kawaki arc is like when you see that girl freshman year of high school that, you know, it's okay, she aight, that's the friend. She a little nerdy, she ain't necessarily the best looking, and then you see her senior year and she comes back and all of a sudden, like, oh my god, she's got boobs, holy shit, she's wearing the makeup, she's got the clothes on, like, holy shit, she's hot, and you're doing everything you can to get her attention. That's the girl that you wish you would have stuck it out with. That's the Boruto arc right now with the Kawaki arc. So that is my Naruto Boruto Next Generation's tier list for the story arcs. Let me know where you would rank the various arcs Let me know where you rank them down below. But as always, guys, if you like anything I had to say, don't forget to comment, rate, subscribe, and share. Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. Have an awesome day, guys.